Hey everybody, Hostrone here with another First Edition Friday Star Trek First Edition video. Hope you guys are having a good 2024. This will be the second video of this new year. I hope you guys enjoyed the video I put out last week and my conversation with Matt from Hawaii. And I hope you guys enjoyed all the videos I put out last year. Today what we're going to do is we're going to take a deck that I have played somewhat recently, and we're going to just make some modifications to it. There have been a lot of cards that have been banned recently. In my last video of 2023, I went over the cards that were currently on the ban list, and of course, since then, we've had even more cards get banned, which has been interesting. Let's see here. So the ban list was updated to have these cards get banned. So Empok Nor has been banned, Cybernetics Expertise, the Cafe, the Study of Virgin History, Make a Difference Again, and then I've Been Waiting For You, Orb Experience. They've all now received the ban treatment so that they can be tweaked and brought back into the game. But this kind of came out before I had decided what it is I was going to do for this video, and so we'll come back to this later. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on a deck that I had played back in 2023 towards the end of the year, and it kind of revolved around exploiting Planet Killer. It was basically just doing the very popular monster hunting that has become very ubiquitous here the last year or two, using Obsession in the seed phase to download a self-controlling dilemma except Borg ship, and then it downloads Planet Killer. The Planet Killer, if you destroy it, it is worth the 10 points that you get in battle, plus the 6-point range, plus the 10-point weapons, and so you get 16 plus 10 for 26. So you just have to basically find a ship that you can get 11 weapons on, and then you use, generally speaking, the It Must Be Destroyed to then get yourself up to a +5. You get to 12 weapons, and then you get a +5 to get you to 17, and then you just hit the Planet Killer, and you attack it, and then at the end of the turn it attacks you, and then you just hit it again and you destroy it in a single turn. Not difficult to get a weapons 12 ship. You either just need a ship that's already got like 11 weapons or 12 weapons on it, like an 11 weapons Dominion ship, and then you give it a VR headset to get it to 12, or you just have a 9 weapons ship and then you put a matching commander on it. You get Captain's Log with Make It So, and then you have a 12 weapons ship that then gets the additional 5. So destroying the Planet Killer has proven itself to be a very easy thing to do, and as such, getting 26 bonus points has proven itself to be extremely easy, because all you really need to do is invest 2 seed slots. You're investing a seed slot for a Battle Bridge door, you're investing a seed slot for an Obsession, and any other seed slots that it takes to do it tend to be pretty inconsequential, because those are things you want to put out and play anyway. Maybe you would argue that you wouldn't have to put out a Make It So normally, but realistically speaking, like getting a matching commander on a ship is something that you want to do, and getting a Captain's Log on it is something that you want to do, so that you're better protected against battle. So it's not really that much of an investment. But if that wasn't enough, getting 26 points for that, then the deck would use Urgent Warning. Once per game per card title, you download another self-controlling dilemma and put it into play at either Spaceline's end, opponent's choice. So then you would download the Planet Killer from your Q's 10 side deck. You'd have the one that you started the game with the Obsession, and you'd get the second one out of your Q's tent with Urgent Warning, and you would then once again just fly your way to it, shoot it, end of turn it shoots you, you fire back, you destroy it. That easy. And then you have 52 bonus points, which means If you're an Alpha Quadrant player, you literally only needed two 25-point missions to get a full win. In reality, what people were doing with it is that they were playing off quadrant decks so that they would have a shortened space line and they would be able to get to the ship whichever end of the space line it ends up on, because it's the opponent's choice. They would be able to get to it easily and then shoot it, and then that's 52 points towards needing the 140 that you need if you're not solving an Alpha Quadrant mission. And so when you take 52 points off the top of 140, you only need to come up with 90 points, which you can do that a variety of ways. You can do a 50-point mission and a 40-point mission. You can do two 40-point missions and get 10 bonus points through mission specialists. There were so many ways of doing it as to basically kind of make it laughable. Doing two missions and then, doing three missions and then only, doing like, if you're doing off quadrant, if you're doing like homestead, it's like, well, doing three missions is, I think, just going to be more or less, strictly speaking, a higher risk proposition. It's more likely to be slower because you have to face more dilemmas that are unpredictable, whereas this is something that is predictable, you control it, and therefore only doing two missions and then doing this is just, strictly speaking, better. You also had more missions that were open to you. You didn't have to just play 30-point missions or less with Homestead as an off-quadrant deck. But this deck I played did do Planet Killer, but because of certain things that I wanted to exploit, I chose not to go with the It Must Be Destroyed. I decided to do maximum firepower, target warp field coils. The reason being that since it's a 4-card side deck, I am almost guaranteed to be able to draw the maximum firepower. So what this deck would do is it would have two mission specialists. It would download Pank with a defend homeworld on the first turn. Pank is the matching commander of his Sukasa ship, which he would download with his special download. I would then be able to make it so to get the captain's log, and now I have a ship that's simply big enough that, even with the -3 of the maximum firepower defense, the Planet Killer can't touch me, and I would then shoot the Planet Killer, and then the Planet Killer I would do two flips, and I'm going to flip at least one target warp field coils for a -3. And with that -3, then the Planet Killer would only have 3 span, and with the missions that I chose in the Delta Quadrant, that one has 4, and Investigate Quantum Singularity has 4. Then no matter what way the space line comes out, no matter which end the opponent puts the Planet Killer on, one of those 2 4-span missions is going to be in the middle, and therefore the Planet Killer is not going to be able to move, and then it's going to shoot me at the end of turn. But here's the thing. The other thing I was doing is I was using a first rule of acquisition seeded on the Ferengi Outpost Mission 2. I would download Gint into my hand during the orders phase, and then when I would shoot the Planet Killer, I would win, and then I would use Sleeper Ship to then put Gint aboard, because it is a non-aligned ship that only had non-aligned personnel aboard it. There was no house arrest issue, so I was able to put Gint on board that ship without needing any other way to cheat him in. And so then I won a battle with a matching commander aboard. I was able to report a personnel aboard, so he was compatible, and that would immediately special download Rule of Acquisition 34 every time a battle is initiated, whether it's won or lost. I would then be able to draw 2 cards. So after that, what would happen is I would just let the Planet Killer shoot my Sunkasa ship, and I would choose not to return fire. Battle was initiated, I would draw 2 cards, but I would not destroy the Planet Killer, at least not in the first couple of turns, so that I would just sit there and let it poke me for card draws. And then eventually, when I did decide I was ready to destroy it, I would be able just to destroy it when I chose. And then, of course, I'd be playing my Urgent Warning to get the other copy, and we'd do that over again. I would then solve Investigate Quantum Singularity for 45 points, with hopefully a +5 from Angelo Tassoni's Navigations. I'd be solving it for 50 points, basically. 40 points mission. I would then use Aftermath 2 and its built-in wormhole and Changeling Research to built-in wormhole to just go straight into the Gamma Quadrant. And I would then beam down all of my holograms that you can see here onto Investigate Omicron Particles, where a holographic settlement is downloaded, and it basically allows your holographic cards to exist on planet. So I would not have to worry about an opponent destroying a holo projectors. And then I would solve this mission for 35 using just basically a computer skill and then these 3 holograms. That's all I would need. So I would have 35 plus 45 mission points for 80, and then I would have 52 points from the 52 points from Obsession. So that would get me up to 132, and then I would have 10 bonus points, basically from having 5 points from Angelo Tassoni's mission specialist skill, and then I would use Narek on the planet for his computer skill. If I really needed to in a pinch, I could use another copy of Urgent Warning to download the beta 12A entity to wherever I was, and I would just shoot it and destroy it for bonus points as well. And that's how I got to 140 without and then not solving an Alpha Quadrant mission and doing it a 2-mission win. And I was taking away the risk of playing holograms, which is to say that you have to, if you want to do a planet, you need your holo projectors, typically, and that's open for an opponent to destroy. So by taking that problem away, this deck became a lot more reliable. Now, as I said earlier at the beginning of the video, Planet Killer was banned, and so its easy 26 points times 2 has gone away. And so if I want to play this deck again in essentially the same pattern as before, we have to find a way to change this deck. So that is what I did. And as it turns out, it doesn't take much to do that, because there are other cards that are still in the game that will kind of make up for this problem. So I'll just kind of go over what these very simple changes were. So I have the deck loaded up here. And the first off, the thing that we do is we have to change what we're downloading with Obsession. So instead of downloading the Planet Killer, what we're going to do is we're going to download an assimilated vessel. We have a temporal conduit, so we can download an AU card during the seed phase, and it will go to one of the ends of the space line. Let's just assume, for argument's sake, that the opponent puts it on the far end from my obvious starting location. End of every turn, it'll attack one ship, random selection, then moves. Opponent scores points if dilemma moves off space line. That does not trigger because no one encountered it. So the 10 bonus points on the card will never be acquired. But if we destroy it, we will score 5 plus 8 for the range and weapons. On the Obsession, we'll get 13 points. So there's 13 points right there. Cool? Cool. It also has the it's choosing to attack at the end of every turn. So we will shoot it on turn 1, and then after that, we're going to let it shoot us at the end of every turn, so that we can once again proc the 34th rule of acquisition off of Gint. So we've kept essentially the same setup here. We shoot a ship, and then it's an end of every turn shooting me back card, and we're not planning to destroy it right away. So we've kept that in place. The only thing we've done is instead of 26 points, we're getting 13. So how are we going to make up for that? Well, we're going to make up for that by having to change the other self-controlling card that we are going to be downloading. So we are still going to have copies. We have copies of Katai in the deck, but we still have the Urgent Warnings. Urgent Warning allows you to download a Whale Probe or any self-controlling dilemma. It does not have the same non-Borg ship restriction as Obsession. So we download a Borg ship as the second dilemma that we are going to get. Now, of course, this is a lot harder to destroy. You have to have weapons greater than 20, weapons greater than 24 if you want to breach the shields of the Borg ship. It will also return fire on you and have 24 weapons of its own. And so if you don't want to have, if you want to destroy it, you need to have a ship that, ship or ships that can deal 25 points of damage, but also take 24 without being destroyed from the first battle. That's, again, not necessarily difficult. You just need a 9 shields ship with a captain's log and its matching commander on board to get to 12, in which case you'll survive the battle, and then at the end of the battle you'll be there, and then at the end of the turn the Borg ship shoots you again, at which point you can then you still return fire, and even though you're destroyed, it's destroyed. You'll still score the points because you still destroyed it in battle. Destroying the Borg ship then is worth the 15 that you get for destroying it. On the point box, you get 8 for the range, that puts it to 23, and then you get 24 weapons. So you get all of that together. That's 15 plus 8 is 23, plus 24 is then 47. So you get 47, and when you add that to the 13 that we got before, it's worth 60 points. So we're actually going to make more points, which means that needing to have our mission specialists score their bonus points is no longer like a required in order to win. And therefore the AMS points from our mission specialists are more to deal with like point drain. So if we face an Edo probe at either of our 2 missions here, we can just push through that. If you want to, you can still put in the copy of Beta 12A back or keep that in the Q's tent for additional insurance, so to speak. But one thing I did decide to do is that since we kind of have this planet mission over here that screams out that it's kind of maybe where you want to go, because why else would you play with this particular mission and wormholes to get to it, is that when I played in the tournament, all of my opponents put a download Mila, who downloads transport inhibitor, and then you face Turelian plague ship to like wipe everyone out combo here. So again, we are going to just basically make a minor change to how this deck plays, and we're going to be able to beat that combo by using our temporal conduit to download stone knives and bearskins onto the mission before we even make our first attempt. We don't have any equipment that we care about, and so therefore we're not having any problems with downloading this onto the mission. It's not going to hurt us in any way. So we just download that onto the mission prophylactically, and then we can attempt the mission and know that a Mila combo is not going to wreck our day. In the battle bridge, we've made another slight adjustment because we cannot have the -3 from the maximum firepower. That is just not going to work, because then the Borg cube is definitely going to destroy us because we're not coming up with shields of 15. So the change we've made is to put into copies Picard maneuver. Picard maneuver says if you initiated ship battle with your matching commander aboard your ship, it appears to be in 2 places at once and has a 50-50 chance to avoid all damage this battle. We still get an attack bonus of +3. So in order to destroy a Borg ship, we need to have basically like 2 ships that can come up with weapons of 11 apiece. That's not going to be a problem because we're going to have again the Sukansa ship with 9 plus a matching commander that takes it to 12, and then we're going to have Voyager with its 8 +1 from the Bioneural pack to get it to 9, and it's going to have its matching commander aboard. So we're going to have 24 weapons between these 2 ships, and then we're going to have the tactic giving us a +3, so we're going to get to 27 weapons. So it's not going to be a problem to damage it. But then the Picard maneuver is going to allow each of these ships to avoid damage in that first battle. So, and you're going to do a coin flip individually for each ship. If you come up heads or whatever, if you call heads or you call tails, doesn't matter. Whatever you call, you're going to get a chance to have that ship avoid all damage this battle. And so you're going to have, essentially when it comes down to it with the two battles, each ship is going to have roughly a 50-50 chance to not be destroyed from dealing with the Borg ship. You attack it, and so that you have a 50-50 chance to avoid damage on that first battle. And of course, the second battle, it is the dilemma, self-controlling dilemma that's initiating battle. So you can't use the Picard maneuvers avoidance on the second battle, but you do get that 50-50 coin flip on the first battle. When you factor the fact that you have two different ships that are doing this, you're getting a 50-50 chance on both ships, and basic mathematical statistics tell you then that we have a 75% chance of having one of these two ships survive. Okay? Because you have a 50-50 here and a 50-50 there. Those of you who remembered their high school biology, when you have two possibilities on the left column and two possibilities on the top column, when you match them up, what the possible outcomes are, you get a 75% chance that one of those is going to come up with the correct pairing for you. So it's really just kind of basic statistics. So that is not to say that it's a guarantee, because 25% is not an insignificant chance that you might lose both. But that's why we run 3 ships in this deck, and it's why we also in a previous version I had a couple of copies of Paler Toft. You can get a ship back. I don't think I have it in this deck anymore. I don't think you put in. Yeah, I did not have it in the version that I had that I actually played. But if it becomes a real concern, you can very easily add in a copy or two of Paler Toft to get a ship back. To get the Sukansa ship back specifically, because you won't be able to get Voyager back. But that's not really that big of a deal. We're going to just assume success here, because you really only need to have the one ship be able to go to the Gamma Quadrant, and whether it's Voyager, the Sukansa ship, or the Olara, it doesn't really matter. You just need to have one of them go through. Thing to keep in mind is that you're going to want to probably destroy the Borg ship in the Delta Quadrant, because only one ship is going to be able to go through these wormholes to get to the other side. It's kind of a one-way trip with the way this deck is built. So that is basically how the deck is played. Those are the changes that were made. And if we want to do a quick little fishbowl here, we certainly can, but it's not really required. The deck more or less kind of plays out pretty obviously. We also have a few check cards in the deck here. When I designed this deck, the fix had not yet been made on the Borg computer crash deck yet, and so that was still very much a concern. And so we did have a copy of like 10 and 1 in here as well to go fetch with quark-sized linear rods as a kind of caveat to that possible problem. But of course, it's just good to maybe have computer crash protection in play regardless, because if you need it, you're going to need it in order to make this deck work. Because if you can't download the Borg ship dilemma, then you have to do 3 missions, and that's just hard for this deck to do. So, not that you don't have plenty of ways to do it, it's just obviously not ideal. So, but yeah, if you have any questions or thoughts on this, you can feel free to leave those in the comments section below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so, and hit that notification bell so you get notifications when I post videos. And if you want to keep watching, you certainly can here. We'll just do a very quick fishbowl, but if you don't, we're going to go ahead and switch over to just doing a little fishbowl here. But yeah, so if you want to keep watching that, keep watching. Otherwise, thank you for watching and getting to this point. Feel free to use this deck at your own local tournament if you want to. And we'll go ahead and begin the fishbowl. So let's assume that we go first. So So we've got a Harry Kim for free with Home Away from Home. We'll do Chakotay for free with Protect the Timeline. As a card play, we will go with Hager to the Outpost. We'll do our trick here where we defend Homeworld and go get pink. He goes to the Outpost. Downloads the Sukansa ship. We have it in hand. We don't even have to use the Make It So. So we can actually save that if we need it for some odd reason. So we're just going to go ahead and ready room door straight out of hand to get the captain's log. We have no other captain's logs or anything to care about, so we will just go ahead and protect it. We're confident we're going to draw our matching commander for USS Voyager. We have many, many ways to get them, so we're not worried about that. So then we just simply load. So then we'll go ahead and use the Rule of Acquisition to go get Gint into hand. And then we simply load up, we fly over here, and because we now have a leader with Hager, we don't have to wait till the end of turn battle. We can shoot the assimilated vessel. We draw 2 tactic cards here. It doesn't even matter what we do, because when we're battling the assimilated vessel, we have enough weapons, it doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter what we draw. We are just going to, for the funsies of it, we'll take the Picard maneuver. We hit it, it cannot hit us because we have 13 weapons. We do 2 flips for a hit. And the assimilated vessel drops to 0 range. These 2 go back, and we know exactly what it is that we're going to draw on any subsequent battles. Because we won the battle with a matching commander on board, we can then put Gint directly on board the ship. He was not involved in the battle, so he's not stopped. And then we were able to special download the Rule of Acquisition 34 onto the table. And then we go to end of turn, and we draw a card. The assimilated ship randomly chooses our only ship here to battle it. We choose not to return fire. Battle was initiated. We draw 2 with Rule of Acquisition 34. And we pass to the opponent's turn. Opponent's going to do their turn. We have nothing that we're going to do on our turn. Just nothing we care about. One thing that will happen is at the end of our opponent's turn, the assimilated vessel will shoot us again. We will decline to return fire. Battle is initiated. Rule of Acquisition 34 applies. We draw 2 cards. We get to our turn 2. We can go with Tom Paris as a unique with the Protect the Timeline. We will go with revised 7 of 9 for free as a revised, or as a with the museum native. We'll do a card play. We don't actually have that yet, so we're going to do this first. We're going to download oh, it's still not going to work. Yeah, we kind of had a little bit of a rough draw in that sense. What we are going to do, though, is we're going to just download Helldigger. We're going to do this anyway. So we're going to download Revised Janeway. And that's how we get our matching commander on board USS Voyager, almost guaranteed, because she is, oddly enough, captain of the USS Voyager, so we never have to worry about having our matching commander and getting her on board. We have too many ways of getting her to play. Unfortunately, we don't have 4 treachery right now for a war council, so we are just going to go ahead and card play Quarren. And then we are going to just more or less pass the turn here. We don't really have anything that we care to do. You don't have anything we can do for swaps here. with the revised personnel. So we are just going to go ahead and go to end of turn. Once again, shoots us. We don't fire back. We draw 2 cards. We draw a card for the end of turn. And then on the opponent's turn, we will use Revised Janeway this time. We're going to get Revised Tuvok. And then end of opponent's second turn, shoots us, we don't fire back, we draw 2. Cool. Excellent. So now what we can do is on our third turn, we can play the War Council because we now have a pair of treachery. So we have a total of 4 treachery in a single away crew or away team. So we'll draw 3 cards. Just to give ourselves some options here. Let's go with 7 of 9 for free with Home Away from Home. Let's go with Revised Chakotay for the free revised personnel. We will play Noah Lessing as a free unique. And this is what we have in play on turn 3. So we have a significant number of people in play here now. What we don't have is a way to buy ourselves out of trouble at the space mission. We have unfortunately been unable to find Kess. However, I think we're not too terribly worried about a few other things here. We haven't downloaded a personnel this turn, so we're going to go ahead and do Holodeck Door. Oh, Kess was coming up. Unfortunate. We will get, I think, Revised Kim. Yeah, we'll get Revised Kim. Anthro Dippo computer skill is not going to be too terribly difficult for us to come up with. The only thing we really don't want to end up facing is a way that we get blown up. So the thing that we're worried about with is just basically V'ger. We can beat V'ger in a lot of different ways here because we have Anthro Diplomacy on Chakotay. So the way it looks right now, that with him, we have Anthropology here. We have Computer Skill on 7 of 9. And then Diplomacy. I think Diplomacy is the problem that we have right now. If we were worried about that, what we would be able to do, we also have Anthropology on Hager if we want it. We have Computer Skill on Narek. We just don't have Diplomacy of a second. So if the opponent ceded the ability to seed a Voyager against us, or a V'ger against us, then what we would do, if we wanted to like go out and attempt a mission now, we would just use the special download reflection therapy in order to get another Diplomacy onto Revised Chakotay. And then that way we'd be able to, no matter how we split things up, we would be able to beat a V'ger. And so we're not going to worry about losing our ship. There's not really much else that we would be concerned about. If a Borg ship dilemma faced here would just pop over to here, and then it would try to battle and fly to here. And on the opponent's turn, it would battle us, but we would be, if our opponents would be helping us, because they'd be doing exactly the thing that we're set up to do. The only thing we'd be risking is losing a whole bunch of people on that battle, but it is what it is. So I think that that's kind of what we would do in this situation. Because we have like so many other things just stone cold beat. By putting the second diplomacy, we're also then able to beat a Gomp too that might hold us down and things of that nature. So it would be covering more than one problem space dilemma. We're not really worried about Cytherians because Cytherians doesn't really do much against us. Because we're playing holograms, we tend to worry a lot less about persistent individuality. And if we really want to measure that out, we have like, we have 1, 2, 3, at least 3. We have 4 different people with engineer, and we would only take 2 kills because we have officer, security, engineer, science. We don't have medical, so we would take 3 kills. We would take 3 kills. We do have civilian on Hager. We'd bring him along in order to cover that, so we would go back to only taking the 2 kills. Yeah. So that's what we could do. We could cycle this card, send to the bottom of the deck, move Voyager into the present, fly it over. All these people stay on board over here. Although we probably want to get the navigation on board in case we just somehow magically randomly solve. So yeah, we will do that. We still have staffing over here with this ship, so on the Sukansa ships, we're not really worried about that. And then we could just have Voyager attempt with this 13-person brick. There's really not much. Let's just assume, for argument's sake, that it is a that the first dilemma that we face is in Arsenal Divided or something like that. So Arsenal Divided. Let's assume it's Arsenal Divided. So we'll plan for the V'ger. So we do the thing that we say we were going to do. We did the reflection therapy onto revised Chakotay, so we're not worried about that. We have Anthro Dippo computer skill here, Anthro Dippo and computer skill over here. And then Angelo's going to go on no matter what. But everybody else gets divided up. Let's assume, for argument's sake, that we're also going to hedge against the persistent individuality behind it. So we have just officer, we have officer science. We can put the civilian over here. We have 1 security that we'll put here. We'll have the other security that we put over here. Put an engineer over here. The reason why we're doing it this way is that if it is persistent individuality, if he selects the wrong group for the number of the opponent selects the bad group, like for purposes of how many kills we take, the stopped group would not be targetable, and so then it's just holograms over here. So with that in mind, we'll just put revised Janeway here. We'll cover science over here. 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to have 6 in each. Angelo Tassone's security is covering everything anyway. He's covering security on both sides. So we don't have to put security actually on this side. So we can put him over here, and then we can just put Harry and Tom Paris over here. And then we're covering 1 officer, science, civilian, engineer, security. And we would just take 2 kills, and we actually have 3 engineers over here. So we would get through. So let's just randomly coin flip here. Alright, odds are it goes left. Okay, they select the left side. This side stops. And then we would have V'ger covered. And if it's a persistent individuality, then we're not losing anybody, really. Most likely. And so that's kind of how you play this out. We get through this mission somehow. Once we anticipate that we're going to get through this mission, then that's when we go ahead and just destroy the assimilated vessel and score the points, and we're drawing the cards and stuff like that. So that's basically how you play this deck. And then once we destroy the Borg ship, as stated, we then fly from this mission to this mission, and then beam down and have basically everybody attempt Omicron particles, other than you just leave the staffed ship with transporter skill to cover a Jelly Chew. Other than that, you're willing to risk pretty much everybody, because they're mostly holograms and you're not worried about them. So, alright, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Again, like and subscribe. Like the video, comment below if you want to, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, and may the profits be with you.